I should like to give the floor to Adam, who will present the future of EURAXESS, the ideas for the Hubs model. So Adam, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much, Ellie, and thank you for the invitation. I hope you can hear me well and see me.
Yes.
I suppose I have a bit of extra time maybe for the presentation, which I'm not going to use in full, but it gives me a more relaxed way probably of presenting, and maybe also questions to receive from the audience in the end. We will see. So let me introduce myself briefly. My name is Adam Molnár, and I work at the Baj Zoltán Nonprofit Ltd, the coordinating institution in Hungary for the Hungarian EURAXESS network. And I am also coordinator of the EURAXESS Hubs project, which I will speak to you about in an instant. But before starting that, let me share my screen. Yeah, I hope you can see it. So,
okay.
Whereas I think we will mostly talk about the achievements of EURAXESS Top 4, which is a large and complex project getting to the end, and you have just heard the long list of quite impressive achievements of this project. As Elisaveta said, the next one, the Hubs project that I'm speaking about, is introducing a pilot for the future operation model of EURAXESS, because obviously, given the policy context, the shifting priorities, and the way we are looking at the future, we need to adjust that. And we would like, of course, EURAXESS to remain as effective and as broad as before, even better than that. So this is why we have started to think about trying something that is better responding to the policy challenges. And this is the Hubs model that I will introduce. Okay, so what we are doing is, first, we are implementing as a pilot, as a limited pilot, a novel service model for EURAXESS, and this is the Hub model, along with the currently used hierarchical model of national networks with national coordinators, and focusing on the clients, researchers, talents, and institutions in the proximity of the national points of contact for EURAXESS. We are also preparing the EURAXESS members who participate in this pilot for providing services using this Hub model. And we, in the process, we are promoting the 3 chosen thematic areas, each focusing on a different aspect of the career of researchers and the related institutional support. These 3 thematic areas are in the center of each of the hubs that we are setting up in the frame of this project. The duration, as you see, is 1 year. It's a short project. We don't have time to test it widely, and we don't have time to follow the test up too much, but we hope that the next project coming after will offer the chance for that. But still, within that limited time, we are trying to give a full test to the Hubs principle with 29 participants covering the majority of the countries that participate in the EURAXESS network, and with a budget of 1 million euros. So what is the concept about? Well, we think of EURAXESS Hubs as platforms for thematic cross-border collaboration, integrating EURAXESS service centers, which are operating in the countries that are part of the hubs, and also adding their external partners, for example, multipliers, enabler organizations, to provide the services to the researchers, research organizations, and other service centers. The players, the partners, are the same as before. The services are the same as before. You have seen it in the previous presentation. Just as a very short reminder, we are focusing obviously on the career development and on the mobility of researchers and enabling them and their host organizations to better handle these challenges. So this is unchanged. What we are adding as a new feature is really the way or the mode of operation, because we understand that we have to make the cross-border collaboration more effective in order to better serve the various mobility directions and mobility modes of the researchers and the institution's preferences. So we are really focusing on making the partners' competencies better available to the researchers and better available to the other institutions, so that they are easier to be connected and faster and more effective in offering their services. All this is being done via a virtual platform, which is nothing rocket science. It is using the EURAXESS European and national portals as its main element as before, but adding specific content, and as you will see, adding some extra features in the end. So it's really a network of different EURAXESS related and EURAXESS driven organizations in several countries, being organized around specified thematic areas, so that the competencies of these players get added up. So I hope that the background is now clear. This is how the hubs are built up. You can see the elements here. The local ecosystem is the key, because that's the environment in which the hub arms, the local hub arms, are based. The competence network I've explained before, and the little rays here symbolize that. Important to say that the hubs themselves are the cross-border structures which are made up of the local arms. And the local arms are the key in the hub network, because they are centering on the EURAXESS centers, the EURAXESS members, which are operating in that given local ecosystem. And they together make up the cross-border EURAXESS Hub. Well, what we are achieving for, or aiming for, let's say, and we'll be getting to in the end, we are establishing 3 new EURAXESS Hubs. You can see the list here in the blue squares. The first is called Novel Skills, and it is focusing on assisting researchers within academia and the public sector. As you know, the bulk of EURAXESS activities and the member institutions are still representing that sector. The second hub is entitled Novel Career Paths, and this is for services for researcher careers beyond academia, so across sectors. And the third is again another specific one. It's called Novel Careers, and that is the hub for scientific startup entrepreneurship. The scope of collaboration, what involves the EURAXESS partnerships, is the first hub has 13 partner institutions, EURAXESS partner institutions. The second one has 8, and the third one also 8. So you can see it's a quite well established in a cross-border aspect. What are we planning to get by the end? Well, we are, as I said, we are, first of all, and most importantly, we're aiming for 3 established hubs with a clearly defined service portfolio, building on the achievements of previous EURAXESS activities. And in this top 4 project is really key because of the broad range of services that you have just seen in the previous presentation. And each of these hubs that will be established, some new services or new way of organizing the services will of course be added to fit the hub model. Each of these hubs will have a digital toolkit for the services. And this is very, very important because clearly physical way of providing the services has limitations. So we are really focusing on the virtual platform offering these digital toolkits that will be the result of the setting up of the hubs. However, in addition to the hub-specific outputs, we are also focusing or hoping to have some horizontal achievements. For example, we are offering continuous assistance for the integration of these digital toolkits. As I said, the EURAXESS portals, the European and national portals, are serving as the main platform, the current and future platform for providing these these digital services. So there is assistance available for that. And we are also emphasizing communicating the idea and the results to the stakeholders as well as the wider public. And this external communication as very tangible results, I just listed here the most important ones, will have 3 podcasts produced and 6 success stories, each showing or showcasing something clearly related to one of the hubs. We also need to focus on sharing the knowledge gained within the EURAXESS network. As I said, it's a limited scope project with a short time for implementation and a relatively small involvement of EURAXESS members, at least compared to the actual size of the EURAXESS network, which is pretty big. So this knowledge sharing and showcasing will involve the EURAXESS network through organizing so-called Idea Lab events, where we will have long and detailed, ample time provided for detailed discussions of the hubs and the lessons learned, and the so-called virtual study tours, which prove or provide the opportunity for EURAXESS members not so well acquainted with the hub model to learn from others who are already implementing it in the specified areas that I also introduced. And finally, we are also planning to have a model for collecting data from the hubs to measure the activities that we do and to make data comparable. It's a key. It's something maybe not so visible, but it's also a key aspect of our operation. So in short, this is what we are doing. This is what we are planning. It's the future, but it's happening now, actually. And with this, I would like to thank you for your attention. And in case there are any questions, I'm open to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adam, for your presentation for the future project, for the hubs idea. And I think this is an excellent approach, because presently we see that in many, parts of Europe, regional collaboration among EURAXESS members appears. There are different topics discussed among researchers, and you focus on very specific topics related to the career, to the so in fact the career to the industry, to the other sector, but also how researchers could build on their own ideas, achievements, and start their own companies and become entrepreneurs. And of course, the novel skills, this is a specific challenge for all researchers in the time we are living, and against all demands related to open science, open innovation, and the changes in our environment. So I saw that there is a question in the chat. Fernando Josa Prado, if I hope pronounce correctly. He asked, Fernando, do you like to take the floor and direct the question?
Oh, hello,
yes,
can
please.
you hear me? Can
yes.
you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Oh, well, I can read the questions. I think it's very, very interesting, this idea of the hub. I just got like two things that I'm curious about, like the funding for the entrance of these external partners, collaborators in the hubs. As I understood, you are going to integrate further partners or further collaborations to the already existing ones, and I guess they will be more local, so that they kind of build the sub ecosystems in all these European hub ecosystem. I reckon this funding should be very important in order to guarantee the functionality of this hub ecosystem. And my second question is why separating the hub of beyond academia from the startup and entrepreneurship? To my understanding and knowledge, everything that is not academia is beyond academia. So I don't think, I am not sure how it's possible to try to tell researchers that entrepreneurship is something really different from thinking beyond academia.
Thank you for the questions. I think they are clear. First of all, the funding. Unlike other Europe-wide hub models being introduced or being established already in technological fields, the EURAXESS Hub model still has to think of implementing some kind of support for establishing hubs on a wider scale. As I said, now we are having only a pilot of 3 hubs, and funding is only available for the participating EURAXESS coordinators to establish the service model. So we are a bit far from that. But you are right, in the future, most probably we will think of having some kind of arrangement in place to enable also local EURAXESS members to be able to adopt the service model, and this could easily require extra funding or additional funding. The EURAXESS model is open actually for any institution, any service provider to offer basic services on a free, no-cost basis. And this is what EURAXESS network members actually do. In case anyone wants to join the network, it's possible. But for the arrangement with external partners and collaborators in the local ecosystem, it's up to the actual EURAXESS contact point or center, let's say, EURAXESS center operating within that environment to work out the provisions, how they collaborate. This can take many, many forms, and I'm really not, I don't have a full view of how different countries, different regions, even cities are doing it. There are good models. I think it will be one of the key questions of the period starting after our project, 2022 maybe, to look into the possibilities of this. So it's a very, very relevant issue, I admit, but right now I don't have an answer. So, and for the second question, maybe the titles themselves are not fully clarifying of what these 2 hubs are concentrating on. The Beyond Academia hub is more like an inclusive and very broad coverage, focusing on the possible career paths or trajectories for young researchers who are considering careers in a non-academic environment. And this could, you are right, this could include scientific startup entrepreneurship, but also many, many other things. So the services are scaled to these many opportunities. And the services actually in this hub include, for example, mentoring services, intersectoral mentoring services, then matchmaking events with potential non-academic employers, for example, and thirdly, also building a community of talents of mixed backgrounds, academic and non-academic. So as you can see, it's really broad. Whereas the scientific startup entrepreneurship hub is much more specific. It really does what it's offering and focusing on the very well-defined career pathway of somebody taking up this path with targeted actions. So this is the basic difference.
Okay. Thank you very much, Adam. I understand both of your replies regarding the last one. Well, the first one, sorry. I think it's good to keep in mind that sustainability of the hub is going to require funds at several levels of organizations: European, global, regional, local, distributive, centralized, everything, right? And it's good to have that in mind. It's a reflection that I wanted to put in the table. And in the other one, in the second one, I think you are correct. I mean, entrepreneurship is a very specific pathway within the Beyond Academia pathways. But I would stress the idea that it's good for researchers entering in this conceptual field of leading academia to understand that actual entrepreneurship is one of the pathways, and that entrepreneurship has got also another interpretation that is called intrapreneurship, which is basically how you move within a given pathway with the skills that you would use for normal entrepreneurship. So that's where the limits kind of fade away and overlap sometimes. And I think this is also very important to take in account whether, well, when we are going to put forward actions in order to bring these Beyond Academia entrepreneurship ideas.
Okay,
absolutely, very relevant. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I see some other questions in the chat. Adam, if you could briefly reply to these questions, because we have 1 minute left before the break.
Well, I'm just trying to read the questions. I'm sorry, I was focusing on answering the previous question. As I see, first question, will EURAXESS launch an engagement initiative for new stakeholders? It's happening in hubs in the project I presented, but it's not centralized. It's up to the individual hub members to engage their stakeholders locally. I admit it might not be the most spectacularly effective way, but as we are now doing the pilot, it's important to act small scale. So it's happening, but it's not something centralized or not something that can be offered maybe as a clear-cut model for anyone else to follow. That will be the next step, not in our project. Yes, the usual service centers are international offices, but not only. Actually, there's a very wide variety for EURAXESS centers, depending on what kind of services they are offering. They can be career centers as well, and many others, just to say 2 examples. Okay, very quickly, I'm going on to the next questions. Local hubs and collaboration, expert nonprofit collaboration. It's a very, yes, you are right in the comment. Exactly, there is an issue that we have to focus on. regarding the non-profit nature of the possible collaborators, especially if the service is advanced and not just basic service, which is absolutely typically not offered for free. This tension is there, but the EURAXESS network as a whole has to kind of digest the implications and get ready for tackling it in a broader way, I believe. So other than acknowledging that this exists, I really cannot now offer a very comprehensive answer to this. Again, we will need time to deal with it.
Okay, thank you very much,
Thank you.
Adam, once more for your interesting presentation and replying to the questions. So
I had an additional, sorry, I'm Natalia. There is an additional question. I don't know if you can read it.
Do hubs have an internal organization different from, yeah. Yes, thank you, Natalia, for the question. Yes, the internal organization is what I showed in the slides. Within the local system, the competence network, the local arm, and the hub itself, which is made up of all these. That is the organization. It's a bit, it's the soft model. It doesn't have any formal or implications, a formal pattern or something. But we first have to see if this relatively simple model works before trying to scale it up. So other than this, it doesn't have any further levels. Work packages are just for the project. So they are really internal to implementing the project itself, and they are not as important as the hub model that I was trying to present on the slide.
Okay, I hope that you replied to the questions. So once more, thank you very much. So we will have a 10 minutes a break now, and in fact, well, we will start 12 o'clock. 11 o'clock with the discussions in the groups. I should like to how to say, remind you that the topic for the discussion is related to the needs and challenges for EURAXESS transfer into ERA talent platform. And we should focus on what is needed and how we can be prepared to implement the ERA priorities in the 6 topics listed as separate groups. So you will be after the break directly sent to the groups. And I would like to encourage you to be very active in the discussions there and to provide us, how to say, feedback and help to face the challenges. So 10 minutes break, and we will see in the groups. Thank you.